So I roughed out this bowl last night. Um, it is a piece of mulberry that from a tree that got cut down in the city park. So it is very wet. I don't have a moisture meter, so I can't tell you exactly how wet. But I wanted to force dry it, and so I'm going to try drying it in the microwave and just see what happens. It's going to warp a lot, especially around that area. But yeah, I'm going to see what's going to happen. I think the bark will probably end up coming off, but it's no big deal. It's not a significant bowl in any way. It's about a ½ inch thick all the way around except near the mortise. That's probably about an 1/8 inch deep, and so that's the thinnest spot, which makes me worry that that's probably going to be the most likely candidate for cracking. So what I'm going to do is throw this in the microwave just like that and hit it for a minute. I don't entirely know what's going to happen. I know that it's going to get hot, it's going to get steamy, and we'll see how many cycles it takes for me to feel like it's gotten dry. I'll be back to you in 45 seconds. Alright. We're done. So, steaming pretty good. And you can feel it's quite hot, obviously, because it's been in the microwave. But yeah, I don't think that I would be comfortable going for more than a minute. And so from here on out, I think I've done this before with relative success, never with a bowl. But so I think 1 minute for the first cycle is good, and then let it rest for a little bit, maybe another minute or two, and then hit it for 30-second cycles after that. So I'm going to let it sit here for another minute or so, and then do another 30-second cycle. After another 30 seconds, the wood actually feels more wet. You can see some of that moisture coming to the surface there. So it's all getting forced out. It is too hot to hold on to for very long. That amount of time I just did was probably about as much as I'd want to hold on to it. So we just finished the second 30-second cycle, and there's already some checking that started to occur here and on exactly the opposite side, right there. Pretty significant. I think I'm just going to keep on going. This bowl has no significance, so I want to know what happens when we keep on keeping on. I wonder if I should have thinned it out more before drying. Alright, next 30 seconds. So we just finished the fourth cycle of 30 seconds, and you can see that the bark has started to separate there. The checking hasn't gotten any worse, but the bark's coming off. I kind of expected that to happen, though. There wasn't much hope for that staying intact, I think, if you're going to dry something in the microwave. So we're on cycle 7 of the 30 seconds, and the checking is actually getting better. That's what's left on this side, and then find it in frame here. That is what's left on this side. There it is. So that's getting better. And then the bark is getting pretty bad. And that's just going to come off eventually. I think that's just due to the warpage of the wood, probably. After 8 cycles, we've got some pretty significant warpage. We've gotten to become more of an oval than a circle. So this is going to be the 10th 30-second cycle, And what I found is that it's not discernible how wet it is after it's been out of the microwave, and it's holding heat a lot longer. So I'm going to throw it in a Ziploc and see how much the Ziploc expands, and measure the moisture release by that. So not a lot, really. I expected more. So we're probably getting close to an adequate level of dryness. Alright, I think I've reached my stopping point. This was the 11th round of 30-second cycles, and so I threw it in the bag. You can see there's a little bit of melting on the bag, but I threw it in the bag and I squeezed out as much air as I could and zipped it shut, and it really didn't expand much. And so I figure that's good enough as far as dryness is concerned. I'm pretty impressed with how everything worked out. That is the worst the bark got. And then the checking that had begun to occur in the beginning, ignore that's from the counter. The checking that had begun at the beginning has completely gone away. This line that I was worried about never cracked totally. You focus there. Really the only thing that I've dealt with in this bowl is the bark and the warping. It is about a ½ inch thick, and so the warping is too dramatic to turn out on the lathe. So it is probably its finished shape and width. I don't know what to do with it precisely because of that bit of bark lifting, and it's just pretty thick for a bowl. But as for an experiment for drying in the microwave, it worked really well. I think I'll continue to do that. I will either leave the bowls thick and expect to have to turn it down quite a bit and turn it around, or turn it down to its final thickness as long as I'm okay with it warping and having a warped bowl. But yeah, 1 minute to start and then 30-second intervals. Once it starts losing a lot of, or stops losing a lot of moisture, then throw it in a Ziploc and monitor the moisture loss by how much the bag expands. Seems like a good enough protocol. Something I'll probably use in the future here. Alright, good luck.